Hello, I'm back today with an extra midweek video for you all, and it's part of a very exciting journaling collaboration put together by Meg from Meg Journals and Daisy from My Green Cow. They've organised a festive December journal challenge and you're now over halfway through. I'll link the prompt list down below if you'd like to join in, and if you've not seen the first 6 videos of this journal collab, I've linked the playlist down in the description below that will contain videos from 12 very talented artists who are each sharing their journal process for a prompt on their channel. I've popped all of the links to their channels down below too, so you're all set for inspiration. So far we're on day 7 and there will be 12 total, with a new video shared each day up to the 12th of December. It's a really lovely laid back prompt list and the perfect way to add some festive magic into your journaling, but also if you find something like December Daily a little bit too much. I don't often journal at this time of year, so it's been really nice to look through my stash and find some bits to work with the Christmas theme. So you'll see here that I'm showing you some of the photos which I'm using in my junk journal today, and this is prompt 7 of the challenge, which is how I decorate for Christmas. I really love Christmas time, and coming down in the morning to all the Christmas decorations makes me so happy and definitely starts my day off on the right foot. So you'll see I started the spread using some blue gouache paint, just to try to add some colour to the page. I want to go for a really muted vintage sort of aesthetic for this spread, and I'm really enjoying that look in my journal lately. I don't often add paint, and certainly not in this way, but this journal is actually a sketchbook from Hobbycraft, so I knew it would take the watered down paint really well. So here I am showing you some of the bits which I pulled from my stash for this journal spread. These festive stamps were really nice, and I wanted to include those because, like I say, I don't often do Christmassy themed spreads. The translucent stickers are some of my favourites, and they're from AliExpress, and I pulled out some red and green ones to go with the Christmas theme. Then there's lots of gold bits of ephemera which I pulled out, and some frames. I tried to go for like the muted ones again, so there are quite a few gold glitter bits, but then there's also some white toned pieces of paper, some tags, some brown paper and little bits like that. I really like the look of tags and I want to add some twine into the spread, so I pulled a few of those out. Some vellum pieces, some little frames which I think will go around the photos really nicely, and then I do have these bits from Ellie's Studio which are my only pieces of ephemera which are actually Christmas themed. So the little frames are perforated, so I just take that apart, and you'll see me later show you how I cut this down because it's a little bit too large for my photo. So the photos that I printed out were just on normal printer paper. I didn't want to use photo paper because I didn't want to add extra thick layers in the journal, but to be honest there's already a hump in this journal and I add a few other bits of cardstock anyway, so it didn't actually matter. I didn't love the shape of this home piece, and the sentiment didn't fit because it says home is where you are, but this spread is all about home, so I just cut that away from the rest of the pink background. So to try and fill the space, I bring in a few larger paper elements. I really love using old book pages and envelopes, so I brought those into the spread. I really love the muted pink shade of the envelope, and I think that pairs really nicely against the blue background and the brown tones of the paper. I didn't love how the background was looking at this point, and so I wanted to add on quite a bit of collage. I don't ever mind that sometimes I change my mind or cover up a lot of the things which I've done previously, because to me that's still part of the journaling process. And the paint layer was definitely helpful in taking away my fear of the big white page. I deliberately stuck the book page in upside down so that the eye wasn't trying to read any of it, because it wasn't Christmassy and had no relevance to the page. I added in a bit more brown paper to the top left of the spread to try and pull in the 2 pages even more. So at this point I needed to work out the layout so my photos actually fit on the page. I gave the hot chocolate one a little white border when I trimmed it, and I think that works really nicely to highlight that photo and stand out against the blue background. I always love to have a hot chocolate whilst decorating the house for Christmas, and I remembered I had the little cup die cut and I thought that would be perfect paired with it. So I'm using some photo corners here. Obviously they're usually used for the really thick photos when you want to take them back in and out of your album, but I really like the vintage aesthetic that it adds, so I just add that in even though I'm not planning on taking the photo out. It adds a really nice framing to the photo so it doesn't get lost up there. So I'm just adding on the holly, which is one of the AliExpress stickers, and they're definitely some of my favourite supplies at the moment. I really love how they look on the page with their transparent background and can be layered really nicely, and obviously I picked this one because holly is very festive. So here I am taking the frame and cutting it down, so I just cut it off at the corners and then I just glue it back on further in so it overlays some of the border already, and you can trim that as much as you want and just lay on the right hand part of the frame so it's the exact right size you need for your photo. And I very rarely use frames in my journaling or my scrapbooking, but I really love how this looks. It definitely changes the whole look of that photo there. It definitely brings it to the foreground and means it doesn't get lost. So I add on a few bits of washi tape and I really like the layered look of that. So I add on the stripy gold one over the grid washi on the bottom left, and then to tie that in again I add the grid washi on the top as well. So I added on the "You're my favourite star" quote, and I really like the way that looks, but it did mean that there wasn't as much contrast on the right hand spread, so I add that little bit of black between the glitter bit and under the photo, just to pull that across. Then I add in this love tag, which, like I said earlier, I really like using tags, and I wanted to use the twine because to me that's really festive, so I just thread that through and use some washi tape to stick that on. Because it's over the glitter, I have to use my tape runner to make sure it sticks properly, but later on I do move this up a little bit because obviously it's going over the envelope. At this point I really like the layered look, but I decided to add on my title on the envelope, and I didn't want that to stop being able to read that easily. I also have these really nice glitter circles which I add on in different spaces around the page just to fill in any little gaps, and I really love the way that they look. I add in a piece of paper to the envelope because I like to add extra journaling, although I do keep that space free on the left to add some initial thoughts, which you'll see later on. I grab my little tiny stamp set and then I stamp on the title of the page onto the pink envelope, and I really love the look of the stamps. I think it creates a really nice vintage aesthetic, and I pair that with some letter stickers which I got from Hobbycraft, which again are in the craft brown paper, and I think that ties it in really nicely. So I pull out this little Pure Joy piece which is from the L Studio pack and add that onto the envelope because there was a bit of blank space where I didn't quite align my stamping correctly, so in between that I add some more of the gold circles. I add on a grey star to the left just to fill that space, and I also add in a Christmas stamp to the bottom right because it seemed a bit empty considering the page is so full. Then I move the tag up a little bit, and also by doing that it means I can see the title and the washi tape sticks a bit better because it's not just on the glitter. And finally I add on my journaling just using this brown Muji pen. I really like the way the brown ink works with the whole vibe of the spread. So here's a look at the final spread. I'm still going to add in some journaling into that hidden journaling pocket in the envelope, but I can also add in more photos in there as well, which is why I really like using envelopes, just to add that extra interactive element. So here's some close-ups of the final spread, and I really hope you enjoyed watching the process and seeing this one come together. Don't forget to check out all the links to the wonderful artists in this collab, and also follow along with the rest of the challenge using the playlist. And each day a new video will be added to it, so you get to see some inspiration for each of the 12 prompts. I hope you're able to find some inspiration, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. See you later.